How's it going, guys? I really wanted to talk about this one particular thing. It's regarding Days Gone, obviously. Now, there's a particular reason that I have been looking through a lot of reviews and people opinions and impressions and what they were thinking about it, initially. Now, as a first impression on this game, I can see, well, a few bits of faults in this game that, other reviewers were talking about it and saying, and that they are genuinely correct. But there are also very wrong reviews out there on top of that. This game is very fun in its own merit and what it tries to be. And it definitely is, it's a blast to play. I'm having a lot of fun with this game now. Sure, it is slow. Sure, your bike is a hungry mother, it eats like fuel, like it's not nothing. And you always constantly need to refill it. I know it makes complete sense as well, and I mean, it's not a bad thing, personally. I think it's actually very good, and it does justice and it does work. Now, if you keep on upgrading your bike, for example, then obviously you do not even need to keep on refueling it as often. That's the very first thing I did anyway, that I concentrated on doing it, so for it. Now, I didn't initially think that this bike was constantly getting, the fueling that I needed to be refueled all the time, so kind of fucking annoying, blah blah blah. A lot of people were very criticizing it. Even Layman Gaming, if you guys know them, they even mentioned it. I actually think that it's not a big or particular bad thing. I mean, there are some strategies that you need to be involving yourself. For example, I do want to mention one thing though. I want to mention that is I do take very easy on this game. For example, I take it slow, right? I don't go into the story and just do the very first thing is the story. No. If there's a question mark, I try to go and tend to it. If there is something that I need to clear out, I go do that first, and then I make my way over very slowly to that main objective or wherever I'll need to go. Now I do that first, and then I consider doing what to do next, sort of thing, right? And it makes sense completely. Perhaps some people do not like that sort of thing. They just go for the story and try to complete it. Now that will be a little bit difficult due to the fact that you always need to be refueling your bike. Now this game is really a big reminder of the State of Decay and also a bit of The Last of Us, how it handles itself. But I mean, State of Decay has all the worst parts about it that just was uninteresting. But the good parts about it, I personally think, is that when you need to go explore every single building, you need to pick up the resources, scavenge, you need to craft some stuff and whatever, right? I believe you need to craft. I have not played any State of Decay, just so you know. Days Gone it's not that different, really. Like, you have to go to each building, explore, get the resources, use them up, those resources as well. And I mean, that makes sense. It's actually very good, and I like it, but it's slow. It's not exactly a very motivating fact for people to be watching this as a live stream, for example, even though I have been live streaming this game quite frequently as well. And as of this moment, I personally think that I still am very early in the process or in the phase of this game, and in the story wise anyway. I still don't have a machine gun. I still don't have my sort of bunch of ammunition that I would probably require to have so I could take care of those hordes properly. As of this moment, I have not encountered, well, I have encountered a bunch of these hordes, but properly in this moment I tried to do my best to ignore all of those hordes because I'm underprepared, and I don't think I will be able to handle all of them because my ammunition and the weaponry that I have, it's definitely not worth the time, at least not the time of investment anyway. Now, one other thing, I would definitely want to mention this. A lot of people were saying that the gameplay and how your weaponry handles, it does not feel good, it feels awful, like a lot of people saying. I disagree. I think it feels just fine. No, not revolutionary, definitely not, but it feels just fine. It's not like it's overkill or anything like that. It does not feel it's broken. I don't think it's the weakest part of the game. A lot of reviewers was talking about it. No, I don't think so. I think what makes this difficult is the enemy AI, the way, a freaker, let's say, goes right after you, and so they always tend to dance around and you always try to land a shot, but it makes it very difficult. I think maybe get good, maybe that could be the best thing to say, or maybe trying to anticipate where they be coming from, and so pay attention where you shoot, take a long shot, and hope for the best sometimes as well. Obviously, there are some drops off as well, so you need to consider that as well. I mean, I don't know. So far, I'm talking about, right? As my first impressions, my first initial impressions of the Days Gone, it's been very good. One thing I do want to mention. Fuck, the loading are... they're ridiculous. The loading is very long, but I'm okay with it because as soon as you load up into the main game, that's it, you're done. You don't need to load anything. That's fantastic, and I appreciate that. Not like Anthem. Yeah, and the one other thing is the... oh my god, the transitions. When you have a cutscene and then you go transition over to gameplay, there has that black staggering of a cutscene right between that. It's annoying, right? You can still ignore it, right? After a while you will, get used to it, and then you start, stop thinking about these nitpicking things. So I mean, I don't think it's a big deal, but you can definitely feel it's a bit outdated. You haven't, you wouldn't really be encountering with those sort of things. Now, there are some aspects of this that at first, for example, when I started driving a bike, it felt like it was drifting a lot and it was like dragging a little bit. No, that was just my very first impressions. After I got an experience with it more, I have a lot more control with my bike, but also you have to understand I did upgrade my bike, so it felt even more manageable to control, and I had more control over it, and it felt good. Driving a bike feels good. Handling my character, John Deacon, he feels good to handle, to shoot, to run, to... oh god, melee combat, bloody hell, is satisfying. Even though there's some kind of weird lock-on thing, right? The way he has that kind of boost, the way he boosts up and hits that enemy right in front of him or whoever it is, it looks weird, but the way he lands a hit, it's extremely satisfying, and I'm very pleased with that, for certainty, for sure. And I'm very happy with it as well. So far, as I mentioned, I think I have encountered with freakers, regular freakers obviously, those kids freakers things as well. There are not that many of them, wherever, they're just there. Personally, they're not that substantial or anything like that. It's just, remember the controversy has been going up because the kids freakers, and it's just like, oh my god, it's a big thing, killing those freak kids. Forever, forget it. Stupid news, stupid articles that people keep on writing. Anyway, I have encountered, I have encountered with infected wolves and also just regular wolves. Even though that did not make much sense, because wolves, yeah, they're a little bit overkill, I want to say, when you try to shoot them. Well, perhaps maybe I missed their headshots and maybe I could kill them in one shot, one kill, but I don't know, it felt like they were a little bit ridiculous. In some cases, it's much easier for me to just get off my bike, for example. Well, I have not actually encountered with any wolves that I was driving by and I needed to shoot them. No, it was not that. But I needed to, for example, when I was on foot, shoot the wolves. It's irritating, but then, okay, it's easier just for me to bring out my melee weapon and just knock that, just bash them into the head or whatever. It's like, it depends what kind of weaponry you have as well. So, for example, you can use a combat axe or an axe or machete, and it's very easy, like 1-2 hits and they're done. So it goes with the freakers as well. 2-3 hits and they're done with machete hits. It's fantastic and looks so satisfying as well. Now, talking about the normal regular combat knife that you have is extremely weak, but it never breaks. So that's very, useful for you to have. And I do appreciate that you still have some kind of sorts of availability. Now, one other thing, there are some events that do happen during the open world, right? These question marks that I talked about, right? You need to explore these circle interests, right? You need to explore and you need to find by using your detective skills. You find this sort of thing, but sometimes they could be traps. I actually got caught in one of those. I got caught in a trap and then I was in a bandit camp. I was as a prisoner. But then I could easily escape because I had a knife with me. And even though the bandits, they took all my stuff and my gear and my equipment, so how the hell did I still have my knife with me? Did I hide it somewhere? I don't know. That was a little bit questionable, and it was weird. It was definitely weird. thankfully as well, because they took care of me, like the bandits, you know, they took at me as a hostage. And yeah, I was nearby for that area where I got you know, ambushed, so to say, right? I was caught in a trap. And so that was actually, I like that idea, you know, that there's always dangers in the world that you always need to be anticipating. And it was pretty cool, I gotta admit. It was pretty cool. I like this diversity in the gameplay that, you know, you never know what to expect. In fact, I noticed as well sometimes while I was riding around actually on my bike, and I seen these deers and freakers going after these deers and killing them, eating them. I was actually questioning it that animals, if they become infected, and then I can actually skin the deer that are dead because the freakers caught them. So I skinned them, for example. I skinned the wolves as well, you can do, by the way. So wouldn't that be actually dangerous? Because I'm skinning them, then I'm selling them back in the camps, and I'm getting credits for that as well, and I'm getting the reputation as the trust meter goes up. Isn't that kind of dangerous? Maybe it could get infected to other people as well? Interesting. I don't know, you know, these are little nitpicking things. Realism is not all about being fun part about the game. Like, not realistic things is the fun factor in this game as well that I can definitely consider. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 is a comparison that has so much realism that made the game super slow, and sometimes for other people not enjoyable at all. For me, I mean, I don't mind that. Realism, non-realism, I play freaking Assassin's Creed Odyssey. How much realism is there? So I mean, come on. For me, realism is not a problem. For me, it's more of a fantasy role and more of a, you know, imagination thingy that you've been introducing here. I think it works. Either way, it works. And man, so far so good. The story seems very good. The cutscenes, oh my god, the voice acting is fantastic. I want to mention one thing though, Deacon. He's being a dickhead, isn't he? He's a complete jerk. Fuck. And I like him. I personally do like him. Yeah, in some cases and occasions I do encounter that Deacon is being too much of a douchebag. But still, maybe that's just a personal preference. Anyway. Yeah, that's that. First impressions is very good. I am very liking so far what I've been playing. But this is not a review, it's just my first impressions of this game, Days Gone. So far so good, I want to mention. Yeah, well, I think that's that for today. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. See you guys later. Have an awesome day, and yeah, have a good one. You cashed in on